Buon giorno e benvenuti a Campus Party Digital Edition. Da ora in poi parlerò in inglese perché questo è un panel in inglese. So, hi everyone, hi Campuseros. You can join here from 31 countries, and now is the first content of the Italian version of Campus Party Digital Edition. So, in this content, in this talk, in this panel, we're going to understand what is open banking and what are all the possibilities that we can have with open banking. And we will do it with Nexi, that is a really, really great player in Europe and Italy. Open banking was born like a mainstream concept about 1-2 years ago with the introduction of PSD2. Maybe you know that, but open banking in general is a very broad topic. And I will let now Sarah Delforno from Nexi describe what are the opportunities from Nexi. Sorry, we may have some problems. Okay. Hi, Sarah.
Okay. Hi. Good morning, everyone.
So in the
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm actually hearing a little bit of echo, but probably it's something technical that they are kind of fixing.
Okay. 1 moment, and I will. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we're talking about open banking. So can you explain to us what is open banking and what is Nexi doing with it?
Yes, sure. First of all, thank you, Giacomo and Campus Party, for this invite today. It's great to know that we have so many young entrepreneurs and startups connected from all around the world and interested in knowing more about a Nexi open banking proposition. So let me start define what open banking is by saying what it is not. Number one, open banking is not equal to PSD2. I mean, we can say that open banking has two sides of the coin. One is related to the European regulation, the PSD2 indeed, and sets rules for banks to open up their current account transaction data with the aim to provide final customers with more transparent information and ultimately giving them a more accurate view around their finances. But the second side of open banking is more widely related, as you mentioned, to the opportunity for a traditional financial institution to set up collaboration with an external player, like, for example, a fintech, and source efficiently their solution in a kind of a plug-and-play approach and deliver brand new services to the market and to their final customer that are not necessarily linked to access to account. So we come to statement number 2, that is that open banking is not just a topic for technical audience. Open banking,
right?
Sorry?
That's why you're doing it for now. You're talking to Campuseros because open banking is for everyone.
Definitely. And so we come to statement number 2, that is that open banking is not just, as I mentioned, a topic for technical audience. I mean that for sure open banking has new technologies at its core, like API, cloud, artificial intelligence, but it's rather an enabler of new business opportunities for a bank. We can even say better, not me really, but there is a kind of rich literature on this topic, that open banking is a new paradigm shift within financial industry, and that is progressively transforming the way banks will do business in the next 2 to 3 years from now. For example, but it's just a couple of examples, open banking will enable banks to deliver and enrich new value proposition by new relevant services, acquire new customers, get to know better their customer base, so tailor more I would say more accurate, more profiled offers, save budget, shifting selectively from internal development to external sourcing, and of course improve the efficiency of frontline and back office processes. So Nexi started from this consideration, and we basically developed a business initiative around open banking. This initiative is called Nexi Open and aims to make open banking real, concrete, for the benefit of our partner banks. As you probably know, we are the paytech of Italian banks, and today we serve more than 150 banks in Italy. So let me explain you what Nexi Open is. Nexi Open is an ecosystem of players that help us deliver new open banking services to our banks, and each of those players are covering different verticals, each in their respective fields. We have onboarded tech companies that are global players that can empower their third-party open banking services by their advanced technologies like analytics, cloud, and so on and so forth. As you probably read on the newspaper, we recently signed a strategic partnership with Microsoft. We have on board consultancies that can provide our banks with thought-provoking point of views about innovation, future of banking, and possibly the future of open banking. We talk with institutions. We foster a dialogue, a constructive dialogue with regulators to drive the future of fintech, and because we really want to explore how open banking can benefit the different stakeholders involved. We work with accelerators and incubators that help us scout the best of breed of innovation internationally. And I'm pretty sure that most of you already know about Plug and Play, which is a Silicon Valley-based accelerator and is probably the most acknowledged startup accelerator in the world. They accelerated startups like Google, PayPal, Dropbox, and more recently N26. Wow. They launched the Italian Fintech Hub earlier this year, and we made a relevant investment as Nexi to become founding anchor member of this Italian Fintech Hub. And now I can say that we kind of work side by side very closely with them to scout the most promising fintech in Europe and to bring them in Italy to our partner banks. Okay. Of course, we work even with Italian accelerators, so we can keep focus even on the evolution of the domestic fintech landscape. And last but not least, of course, we have onboarding fintechs in Nexi Open. We have approximately 15 fintechs signed as of today, but the work is still in progress, and all of them having some points in common. First, they deliver absolutely bank-friendly solutions, so we don't kind of host a challenger players into our ecosystem. They have already an active go-to-market, so they have already demonstrated somehow the ability to work with some complex institution, like sometimes traditional financial institution are. And we have selected fintechs that cover at least some of the verticals of highest priority for a bank. We have fintechs delivering open banking solution within the credit field. For example, offering an open banking-based credit score that basically measures your ability to repay for a loan, analyzing your transaction history on your multiple current accounts. And of course, as you know, credit focus is becoming even more relevant as pre-COVID phase, because COVID-19 is somehow likely to damage business activities and employment. We also have fintechs operating in pure fee-based business fields like investment and insurance. as we know that fee-based revenues are a powerful lever for a bank that is looking for a de-risking strategy. And I could give you more and more examples, but I don't want to steal time to the next speakers. So let me just conclude just a quick note that I'm very happy that 3 of our fintech partners in Nexi Open are here today with us and will present their solution to you. So Giacomo, thanks again. The stage is yours, and we will reconnect for the final roundtable.
No, the stage is not mine. The stage is yours, Nexi, and the fintechs. I just facilitate. So yes, we have selected with Nexi 3 fintech startups that have played a relevant role in the Nexi Open ecosystem. So the first one is an Italian one. Is Conio. Conio is a Bitcoin wallet that is now integrating inside of home banking services. And so you can, as a user, you can also access your home banking app and buy or sell Bitcoin. So we will now have few other information about Conio from Christian Miccoli, that is the co-founder of Conio.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me loud? Perfect. Good morning to everybody. Okay, first a couple of words about the sector. I mean, I founded Conio because I saw a big opportunity in the growth of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are a quite new thing. They were born in 2009 when Bitcoin was launched by Satoshi Nakamoto, the mythical figure that is absolutely unknown today. Well, but nevertheless, after 2009, the sector continued to develop, and the last year we had really major new developments with the announcement of Libra and the announcement of the digital yuan. These 2 announcements are extremely important because it means that the underlying technology of cryptocurrency is so solid and so reliable that you can build on them even stable coins or central bank digital currency like the digital one, or stable euro, stable dollar, and so on, like Libra is going to be in the end of the year. This is an extremely important development because it's going to change money as we know it today. Today, we know credit cards, we know cash, we know bank deposits, but we do not have a possibility to send and receive this money directly on the net. The new digital currencies are designed for this. They are designed for a world based on internet, and therefore they are likely to succeed in the future and to gain more and more market acceptance in the next years. We saw this coming, and therefore we decided to found a company that provides the basic tools that you need to access the new world of digital currencies. Basically, Conio is a wallet based on an extremely strong custody solution. We launched the company in 2016. 2018, we launched our first B2C wallet on the Italian market. You can download it freely from the Apple Store and Google Store if you want to try it. But from the beginning, we had in mind to serve banks. Why? Because the most obvious thing for a customer is to buy and use a digital currency, leveraging on his actual bank relation, because he basically trusts his financial service provider. Therefore, our hypothesis is that customers expect to be able to handle, buy and sell Bitcoins, Libra, and the digital euro from their actual bank. And because we know that it's difficult from a technical point of view, our aim is to provide banks with a plug-and-play solution that allows them to offer within 2 months, with no upfront cost, a full digital wallet to all the customer base.
Yes.
Well, if you explain it in this way, it seems a little bit a very ambitious target for a startup, no? Because banks are
giants.
I mean, they are challenging clients, no? Because they are heavily regulated. They are cautious. They are worried about reputational risk, about security, and so on. No? If you want to work with a bank, you need to achieve a very high standard of quality, reliability, security, and everything, I would say. No? And we worked very hard on this. We worked a couple of years after the launch of our B2C wallet. And just a couple of months ago, in April 2020, we were able to launch on the market our first partnership with a bank. We launched the Bitcoin service of Hype. Hype is the challenger bank of Banca Sella. Well, I mean, it's a major bank here in Italy, because it's I mean, it's very popular. It's a very popular service. It's used by 1.2 million persons in Italy, mainly, I would say, young persons. And after the launch, I can tell you the service was really very well received. We got an extremely positive reaction from the market, and everything is going well. No? By the way, immediately after the launch of Conio Hype, we reached break-even, which can normally considered as a big achievement in a startup, but we consider, well, from our point of view, it's just a starting point, because our objective is really to become extremely big and conquer the world, I would say. But nevertheless, in June, just a couple of months ago, we signed this agreement with Nexi. I think it's extremely interesting for us, but I also think it is an interesting thing for banks, because incorporating today a digital wallet for today Bitcoin, tomorrow the digital euro, and so on, will position the bank in the right way to withstand the possible disruption coming from the digital euro, the digital currency revolution, and allow them to generate immediately new revenues, new clients, with a very big, even improvement of the bank image on the market.
Yes.
I think my time is probably almost finished.
We can discuss about the other details in the question time in a bit. So I will leave Christian now. Thank you, Christian. And I will pass on the next fintech startup, that is Cred. Cred is a robo-advisory app that is with the target of youngsters, that allows you to create your investment portfolio, and it makes things easier. So I will now let you know a little bit more about Cred from Ben Fried, that is the CEO and co-founder of Cred. Have I said it right? Ben Fried? Fried?
Yep, you got it right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I said it right. Okay. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you to everyone that put this together. Giacomo, Sarah, the Plug and Play team, Nexi. Too many people to thank. So it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Ben Fried. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cred. And like you said, we are in the world of investment advisory or personal finance. And just a little bit about the company. We're actually based in Tel Aviv, which is where I am right now, at home, like I guess most people around the world. We have operations in New York and in the US. And now we're happy to also be joining a very interesting market together with a partner like Nexi, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. Like I always say, we like to do business where the food is the best. So I think we would have come to Italy at some point anyway, but glad that this is happening now. Yeah, so Cred is a company where our focus is on marrying two prospects together. So the first is personal finance for consumers, right? It's that's why we started building this company, is because we understood that there's not enough of a focus in the world of finance, in the world of investment management, there's not enough of a focus on the individual investor. Actually, let me share my screen here for a moment, and I'll show a quick progression of where this world started from and where it is today. Okay, so please let me know when the screen is shared. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's look at from 2000 to 2020, which is where we're at today in the world of investment management. And so if you look at from the client's angle, from the investor's angle, which is really how we approach this problem in the first place. Investment management used to be in 2000, or around 20 years ago, only available to certain people, only ultra high net worth individuals. There was a lack of access. It was difficult to understand what was going on, difficult to approach this field. It was like a black box and only available to certain people. And if you look at the people that serve this, investment advisors or investment advisory institutions, what they were focused on was the product, the investment product, right? How do we build a better fund? How do we build a better portfolio? And everything was very manual. And of course, the problem with that scenario is that it locks a lot of people out of this world. And it's probably not maybe the best way to think about this industry. And so if you fast forward to 2020, where we are today, really the expectations that we have as clients, as investors, is very similar to the rest of our lives. We want personalization. We want it to be tailored to us. And I don't really care what the portfolio does, especially if I'm not a finance professional. I want to know what the bottom line is. I want to know how my financial life will improve if I want to retire, if I want to buy a house or any other thing. That's my goal. That's my target. And so I think that investment advisors, the value that they have to provide today is very much aligned with that as well, right? We're not talking about investment management. We're talking about financial planning. We're talking about a much more holistic approach to understanding what does your life look like, not only within this narrow portfolio, but also more broadly. And of course, you must use technology to enable, whether you're an investment advisor or a robo-advisor, it doesn't really matter. Whoever is serving that service must understand everything that's going on around your life and use technology to do that. And so really that's what Cred is there to do, right? We automatically identify and take action for each event that comes up in each client's life. So we want to understand everything about the financial health of a client and optimize that over time. I'll stop sharing here for a moment and kind of go into, come back to why we do what we do. And so, first of all, how do we do this, right? And the how is, it's actually interesting. There are three big pieces of regulation that are coming into the world right now, both in Europe, in the US, and in different places as well. It's related to data ownership, related to privacy, and critically also related to client best interest, right? We want to make sure that, especially in this difficult world of finance, or a world which has always been, again, in a kind of a black box, we want to make sure that the client is first and the product is second, or the profit is second. And what's interesting is that actually these two things can align, right? Putting the client first and making sure that the data belongs to the client and making sure the privacy is there. Those are things that you don't really need regulations to demand. It's good to have those regulations, of course, but that's also the best practice for a bank or for a wealth management institution. Moving forward, you see that if you look around the world, the firms that are growing the fastest are already doing these things. They understand that we all, as consumers today, have a lot more visibility into what's going on, into what's happening. We understand what fees we're paying more than we used to do. We understand what are we really getting out of this thing. Don't tell me all sorts of fancy words about beta and Sharpe and risk and return. Tell me what I'm getting. And the second that happens, I'm much more likely to give you my assets. I'm likelier to trust you. Your wallet share of your clients will go up. Your assets under management will improve. So really we see this as an alignment of the way that the world is moving anyway, obviously being pushed by regulation as well. And we look at it and say banks have an enormous opportunity because they have the relationships with their clients. They know what's happening in a client's life. And you can't detach the investment piece from everything else in your life. If you're having a child, if you took out a mortgage, if you have some sort of holdings that are different from anyone else, let's identify those pieces of data. And then the banks can be much more effective because they know the clients so well, because clients trust them in many cases. They have a very strong relationship. What we can do is serve you a better investment solution as well. And that's, I think, a great piece where you're bringing everything into a centralized location. The client is at the center of the service, and you're serving in a much more personalized manner based on the different topics that are actually happening in real time in that client's life. And so that's kind of what Cred does. And my alarm just went off to tell me that the 7 minutes, I think, are...
Oh, you had an alarm. Okay.
So yeah, it's very good to be here, and looking forward to continuing the discussion with everyone here. And
yes, thank you so much, Ben. And yeah, we can go on with the third and last fintech startup, that is Bankify. So Bankify, you may not know Bankify because maybe it does things that you will see, but you won't know they are made by them. So Bankify offers a series of microservices to enrich, the experience and the UX of home banking services, of of financial applications, right, tailored for millennials. So, for example, they are focused on gamification, education, personalization, sustainability, and social interaction. So I will now have here Giovanni Sciavicco from Bankify that will tell us more. Oh, sorry, but I had another number. So it will be, Antti and Marcus. Sorry. Hi, Marcus.
No worries. Hello. Thank you for introduction. And we were actually planning to bring our Italian colleague here today, Giovanni, but unfortunately he's sick. So you have to stick today with me and Marcus. So Antti, the co-founder, and Marcus are head of growth.
Don't worry. And did I say you're right? Your business model. Of course, you can you can let us know more about it.
Certainly. We will, and thanks. It was very, very good intro indeed. So a few words of Bankify to start with, and then actually we show you some real stuff today. We show you a live example of one of our use cases, as you also kindly introduced us, from Nordics, what we have built in the Nordics with some of the open banking players, and we see high, of course, opportunity now to work together with not only with Campus Party but also with Nexi Open and the whole Italian and European market. So Bankify is 3 years old fintech company. We are based in Helsinki, Finland, so part of the Nordic ecosystem. And just to give you a bit of flavor of the Nordics, we were the front runners of internet banking like 20 years ago, really the first guys who did it. And now we are very enthusiastic about the mobile. So all the banking is pretty much nowadays already done in the mobile channel in Nordics, in Finland. Countries are becoming cashless, literally. I don't use personally any more cash. Of course, it's great because of the COVID situation, but that was the situation even before that. And this is also where from the Nordic countries, it's of course smaller countries like Italy or so. So you can see things, and technology and digitalization is very rapidly taken into use and also developed forward. So Bankify is also part of this background, and we are already global fintech in a way that we have customers from 3 different continents. Not that many customers yet, but I would say around 10. And from 6 different countries, in fact, and now very much looking forward to expand to Italy also and work with Nexi Open. Marcus, if you go to the next slide, this is where we are coming from. We are super user-centric in financial sector. So we actually help our customers, which are all retail banks or other type of financial institutions. We also have some other like fintech clients. We help them to really focus on the customer experience on their mobile channel. And the way how we started this journey was actually to talk to 3 million millennials globally, learn their needs and wants from their future finance applications. And actually, their needs and wants are not that different from finance apps than they are from the other type of applications. They want the personalization. They want a bit of gamification, if I put it that way. They also want educational aspects when they don't understand, maybe like we heard before, how to invest. They also like very much the social aspects. This is particularly something which is more or less still missing from the finance applications today. And most importantly, they want to have simplification when using services through the digital channel. So this is where we are coming from, and we are experts in this to bring really the customer retention and the revenue opportunities in the finance applications. How Bankify does it? We have set of different use cases which already we have developed. These are all live use cases you see, and Markus will show you a demo of one of them, and I think that's the best way to describe it. Go ahead, Markus.
Yeah, as said, these are all of the use cases, quickly demonstrating that they are all available to see and test on our webpage. So ranging from investments to cash flow management. And today's agenda is about the next-gen PFM that I'm going to demonstrate here. So we can go through the demonstration. So this is the login screen. And as you can see, there's the option to have multi-banking capabilities to selecting your own bank and logging in through that. But this time we're going to do it with the login credentials. This is the dashboard. And the user can see her different accounts, the history provided by open banking. And then in the next account, there's also this history, all the different transactions, as well as account insights. And these account insights provide the user a clear sense of his or her spending, income, and the difference. And down bottom, there are the categories and different tags related to those. So groceries, for example, that are related to consumer goods. And you can go even deeper into these different categories and see the transactions and the spending for a certain category. And you can also access the transactions themselves and see how many purchases you have done, what is the average purchase, as well as have other capabilities such as splitting costs, linking to them to groups, and attaching receipts. And there's also the monthly budget that you guys can send for the certain categories. So consumer goods here, periodical for a month, 1,500 euros. And the same can be done to the overall on the account level. So setting the overall budget for this account, either daily, weekly, monthly, or custom period. Then we go back to the insights. So this is the overall insights from every account. Works the same way that the user can select a certain time period to see the progress, as well as have the global budget available, as well as the categories and tags. And here setting the budget. So going from micro to macro level, having full control over finances. And then there's also the saving goals. So here a new bicycle is the goal, and seeing the completion rate. They can either add savings manually or set different rules, benefiting for our automated savings service. So either periodically, weekly on Mondays, 5 euros, or monthly, daily, however the user wants to save, or optionally have the transactional habits. So picking a company, and every time they spend there, then a certain amount from that transaction will go to the saving goal. Then we also have attached the investment concept to this PFM as a part of looking into the different options to save. So investing in, for example, green funds, and having a portfolio. So giving the option to look into other methods of saving rather than only the traditional ways. And then lastly, we have the social feed, where the users can see activity from other users. Here is someone has made a rule, so they can copy the rule, like the rule, etc. See news from other sources as well. So this was the basic demonstration.
Yeah, and just quickly answering to Sarah, we also have this kind of CO2 carbon footprint calculator capability in transactional database. So happy to show you more demos going forward, and looking forward to work with all of you together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marcus and Antti. I will now, yes. Everyone goes out, and we can now, we can start with the question time, with the discussion, with the debate. So you now have seen how is open banking? What is open banking? What you can do with it? Is it, it's not just B2B. It's not for business only, but it's consumer, because a lot of the things that you will see in your home banking app are the result of all this partnership that also, that Nexi is a great leader in creating the ecosystem. So we will now, go forward and have 2 questions. So I will then ask the question, and I will let, in this order, Christian, Ben, and then Antti and Marcus answer. So the question number 1 is, you are all entrepreneurs in your respective business fields. Can you mention the main challenges faced by starting up your fintech? What are the most common pitfalls to be avoided?
Interesting question. I would say one of the most important things is to keep to continue to give your maximum, to put the maximum effort in the startup, even when things are not going well, because it happens during a startup. I would say endurance is extremely important. Never give up, I would say, because otherwise you really are not going to succeed.
So Marcus and Antti, you have some feedback on it. Also Ben.
Yeah. I would say that in Bankify case, we actually spent the 2 first years for R&D, so developing the technology. And then what we actually discovered is the way how to bring this to the market is to define the use cases and the kind of the way how to consume this technology and these services. So it's not like with technology you need it as a backbone, but then obviously you also need to find a way how to bring it to the market. So that was really what we needed to discover, and what was the main challenge. Marcus knows, of course, this in detail, as he has been putting these use cases together. Do you have a comment on that, Marcus?
Yeah, well, I'm not the person to comment on the beginnings of Bankify, but most certainly I would say the important aspect of bringing stuff to market as fast as possible and getting it to the open. That's why we have kind of not letting anything keep anything collecting dust in the drawer, but instead putting them out to the market and actually sending a message that we're actively looking for different opportunities and actually seizing those as well with these use cases.
Ben, you have some feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we would need a few beers and maybe a full night to talk about all the different challenges and pitfalls that you can that you can run into. But definitely, I'll echo what was said here. That someone said to me once that a startup runs on momentum, and I think that both of the things that you just my colleagues mentioned just now is absolutely correct. That you need a lot of endurance. You need a lot of you need to make sure to put the product into the market, but that all ties in together. The moment that you have, I think for us at least, the moment we went to market and stopped focusing so much on product and started focusing more on the clients and having conversations with them, it taught us a lot about how wrong we were about what we thought we knew. And it also, sorry?
You have to be humble in this, accept that maybe clients want different things than you.
but it's a great thing because it also builds momentum, right? And everything else followed along, at least for us, in terms of making sure that you're building the right thing, you're building the right relationships, because I think, Christian, it was you that mentioned earlier, these are very long processes, especially if you work with selling into banks. And it's not going to be something that you're going to show up one day and say, look at this really cool, shiny thing that I built, and they're going to buy it tomorrow. That just doesn't happen, unfortunately. Maybe if Nexi finds a way for that to work, that would be interesting.
We're very happy.
But definitely, yeah, we'll all be very happy. But so kind of going to talk to the clients, that's the only thing that's important. Talk to clients, build those relationships, make sure you're building the right product. That's what builds momentum. That's what's going to allow you to raise money. Everything starts from there.
So Sarah, we heard from the fintech, but you are on the other side. So what is your on the provider, on the ecosystem side? What is your opinion?
Yes, I can give you my 2 cents about the perspective from a corporate point of view, looking for potential partners. What I can say is that I've spoken with lots of fintechs in these months, and my suggestion is to really keep it simple and keep it on the business side. And by this, I mean that unless you're in a meeting with a product specialist, you probably will have to explain your product and service to someone that does a different job compared to yours, doesn't know your product as deep as you do, not always has IT capabilities, and probably has just half an hour to understand if there can be any fit with and fintech.
Yeah. Also, elevator time, like 2 minutes for the elevator. Maybe that's something it has only 2 minutes to to pitch your idea and to convince.
Yes. But my main point is that even if your service is something super complex or leverage cutting edge technologies, really put your best effort in explaining your business idea, what issues your product overcomes, why a bank or a corporate should choose your solution and not instead any equivalent on the market.
Yes. So now I think we can go forward to question number 2. So in your experience, what are the main benefits from being part of an open innovation ecosystem promoted by a corporate, like Nexi Open? Christian, may you go forward first.
Sorry, I had a glitch and I didn't understand fully the question.
I said it, but now it's displayed. Yes.
I can start.
Okay.
Yeah. From Bankify perspective, this is the perfect opportunity, and we are very grateful to be part of this kind of network. And the reason why I say this is that we have done this already before. In our home market, we have partnered up with one open banking platform player here called Nets, so quite similar name than Nexi, but we have tried it out and find it very beneficial. Especially from fintech point of view, as we don't have all the resources to scale that fast by our own, so we are very dependent on the partners. In a good way, we can also bring value and these kind of value-added services and connect those pretty conveniently with the open banking APIs, even starting with the PSD2 APIs, which are out there already. But it's really like this kind of value-adding attitude we have towards this type of ecosystem and networks.
Ben,
Yeah.
you want to go?
Yeah.
Or you want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that definitely I agree with that statement that the way we look at this ecosystem, and we mentioned this a few minutes ago as well. We're not building an Angry Birds app where you can just go and give it to a user and they'll start using it. It's a very complex ecosystem in terms of financial services. Someone mentioned earlier, there's a lot of before a bank will roll something out, there are a lot of check boxes that need to be checked, and so
multiple times, maybe.
What's that?
Multiple times, maybe.
Multiple times, yeah, definitely multiple times. And so it's an ecosystem. And so the way that we look at Nexi as a very strong partner, obviously there's a lot of synergy between specifically what we're looking to do, which is data-driven, client-centric, and Nexi is kind of has that similar concept of let's make sure that, of course, we're the regulation might have pushed this, or it might have been kind of the market's moving in a certain direction, but the opportunity is actually more client-centric and bank-centric. And let's kind of partner together to bring those two things together. So, the trust, and I think that the data, obviously, that Nexi can provide in this ecosystem to both sides, to make sure that the bank understands exactly what they're receiving. They know how there's not too much extra work that they're doing. And from our side, the ability to work with a partner that really understands the market well, that has the existing relationships with the banks, and that knows how to scale very quickly. So that's, I think, for us, a huge opportunity, and we're grateful to be part of this network.
Yeah, I would like to ask something, because I was really surprised when I had my first contacts with Nexi, because it's a big corporation, but they have a startup mentality, very, very, very extremely open to innovation, and great ability to communicate and probably also convince banks that innovation is necessary and that there are huge opportunities.
Okay, Sarah, I don't know, you're like on your side, to answer this question. But you can maybe you can I think you can answer this question, but from the main benefits that you see that the fintech get from a corporate like Nexi doing the open banking.
Yes, I must say that I kind of totally agree with my colleagues. And probably the best opportunity for a fintech to take part into an open ecosystem like Nexi Open, in fact, is to really accelerate the scale up of your business. Because Nexi can bring you its firepower to go to market quickly, rapidly, and scale it up, because we basically serve all the banks in Italy, and we can be a platform for you to promote your solution and the solution of trustable third parties to our clients and to the markets. And we do it by, of course, our commercial effort, but also throughout our events like this one, for example, and by media leveraging on our communication capabilities.
Okay. I think we have a lot of things to reflect on. Maybe the public, the audience, has some questions. I asked from the backstage if there are some questions that we can show, if there's some comments. What about cryptocurrency? Who wants to answer that? Christian, you want to answer that, or you want Sarah?
Of course.
Who wants to answer? No, Christian, I think you cannot answer. You're on the right side of it. Who wants to answer?
Markus, you are millennial.
I can take the question.
Why don't you say what you think?
Well, my opinion is I've been somewhat involved in crypto. I find it interesting that it is not in a sense that it's regulated in the same way that currencies have, as we have come through Basel and all these different things that were the result of financial crisis. So I think now, especially what has happened with the Corona situation and everything, that money is printed out more and more. How will it affect the cryptocurrency? That's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Sorry, you want to say?
If I can add my personal opinion, I came in touch with the cryptocurrency topic by knowing Christian, and what I can say is that even more than cryptocurrencies, I think the most interesting thing in this field is about digital currencies, and Christian can explain better the different, but basically the digital currencies that are somehow coming to the world in the next short time period are stable coins. So they overcome the limits of the crypto, like bitcoins and so on. And I think that they can really represent a market with high perspective of growth and a super valid option of investment, especially for those young peoples people, that maybe has kind of uncertain financial inflows, and that must build their a financial future.
Buy Bitcoin. Yes,
I cannot speak, but
I may add a little joke, Christian. That maybe not any of you will understand, but will you buy a pizza with that? The most
never.
expensive pizza. Yes.
No way, never.
So backstage, yes, okay. We have another question. Yes. Open APIs, are they secure? How can we ensure that? Sarah, maybe you can answer that, I think.
Yes, what I can say is that APIs are a kind of a protocol base, so they are secure by definition. And well, I mean, if you intend secure from a technological point of view, yes, absolutely, they are secure, and they are secure both for a bank point of view and for the external partner point of view. And of course, when a bank sets up a collaboration with a fintech or another external partner, they do all the security checks in order to be fully compliant. But also, I must add that APIs are secure also from the user point of view, because, for example, when it comes to access to account and the AIS services, the account information services enabled by PSD2, banks can do it, or third parties can access to your account only if you gave them your consent. So yes, of course, they are totally secure.
Okay.
And if I can add a brief comment also about the kind of the new modern technology, it's not only about the APIs, which is a great kind of giving a lot of flexibility and agility for the ecosystem, but it's also these kind of microservices-based technologies, which are more like you can think about Lego bricks. So you don't need to, you can like just build it in a unique way as you want. And that's really where the microservices, these kind of platform-based technologies comes really handy and beneficial. And it doesn't really matter if they are all very secure already today, like AWS, Google, IBM, Azure, like all these major platforms are, of course, the cloud-based platforms are already very secure. But of course, for every industry, this has to be kind of implemented and built right way of benefiting from the technology.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, now we can.
Okay, no. Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. I had a freeze of about a few seconds. So, but yeah, I think we're done because we don't have any more answers. Can you? Well, I think yes, from the backstage, they tell me that we have no more comments. So I think we can wrap this up right now. And I thank you all, guys. Thank you, Sarah, for letting us know, letting Campuseros know what is the open banking, because this is a very difficult topic, and people, think it's very hard, but it's actually, very simple to understand. Maybe if you want to build on it, it's difficult, but if you want to just know it, it's very simple. So
thank you too, and happy to jump on a call if you want to further discuss the topic.
Yes. And thank you, Christian, Ben, Marcus, and Antti for sharing your experiences with your startup. And so I will now salute you, and
Happy summer to everyone.
See you next time, and hope you enjoy your next talk, Campuseros. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Ciao, everyone.
Bye.